Hey guys, it's Mike with Riding in the Ozarks. And I've been really busy working in the shop this week, but there's been a lot of news on Harley Davidson. I even started to make a video, but before I finished editing it, even more news came out. So this is take two on what in the hell is going on with Harley Davidson, the CEO stepping down, the board director stepping down, accusations about mismanagement, and all this stuff that's on. I'm sure you've seen stuff on social media, unless you're living under a rock, about this. Let's talk about it, because I've been expecting something to happen for several weeks now. I just didn't have any evidence that it was really going to happen. So in the beginning, we heard earlier this week that the board is searching for a replacement for the CEO because Jonathon Zeitz had told the board in Q4 of 2024, that would be, October, November, December of 2024, somewhere in that time frame, that he would like to retire in 2025. I kind of had a feeling that this might be coming, and I'll explain why in just a minute. So the question that I think we need to ask, besides when is the CEO stepping down, because that's really been defined, he's planning on staying on till they find a replacement to ensure, I believe it was worded as an orderly change in leadership. But what not being discussed is he stepping away from the board of directors? I've seen lots of people's comments when I do videos about Harley Davidson's financials and stuff about who hired this guy, who hired the German shoe salesman. There's lots of things people like to call Jonathon. The fact is, he's been on the board for like 17 years. Jonathon hired Jonathon. Jonathon and the other board members. When Matt Levatich stepped away, Jonathon Zeitz made an announcement that it was a decision that Matt Levatich, the former CEO, and the board of directors agreed that it was a time for a change in leadership. Jonathon stepped in February of 2020 as an interim CEO, and within a few months was named CEO. If he steps away as CEO of Harley Davidson, that does not mean he gives up his seat on the board as chairman of the board. And if he does not give up his seat as chairman of the board, he still has a lot of influence and control of the corporation through the board of directors. It will take him back out of the limelight. Most people had no idea who he was till he became CEO. A lot of people didn't know he's been on the board for years, but he would still have a lot of influence into the decisions that are being made. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the board doesn't have as much control as I think, but I've talked to some other people about it, and they do think that he would still have considerable influence and control of the company if he stays on as chairman of the board. Now, the reason I was not surprised by this is because back in January, a guy named Jonathon Root was given a new title, President of Commercial, on top of his title of Chief Financial Officer. Now, before Jonathon, we had a lady that came over from Tyson. She left. Jonathon, I've heard good things about. He's been with Harley since 2011. He was in their financial services division. He's a numbers guy, worked his way up in the financial services division, and then recently became the CFO, and then got the title of President of Commercial added on top of CFO. And when all this talk about tariffs started a few weeks ago and stuff, Jonathon is the one that went to Congress and talked to Congress representing Harley Davidson about the impact of tariffs on their brand. Now, that wasn't the CEO that went to Congress. It was Jonathon Root. And I was really kind of hopeful at that time that this might be the next CEO. Maybe he's being groomed. He's starting to take on some of these responsibilities, and he could be the next CEO of Harley Davidson. Jonathon went to college in Chicago. I've never met the man, but I've talked to some people who have met him, and they think highly of him, and they say he's a smart guy. And they think he would be good for the dealer network, who is not thrilled with the leadership that has been under Jonathon Zeitz. Now, whether that's all on Jonathon or the people he's hired or whatever that situation is, I don't know. I don't know the internals. I do know some of the executives at Harley Davidson. I've had an opportunity to meet several of them. The ones I've met are riders. They're likable people. I like them. I've done rides with them. I have not seen any of this woke DEI stuff in any of my interactions with Harley Davidson, but I'm a social media guy. I'm not an employee. And so I'm probably not going to see that side of things. But I have had employees who left Harley Davidson reach out to me and say, I never saw any of this DEI woke stuff that is being blasted all over social media. So I think all of that stuff with Robbie Starbucks' campaign against Harley Davidson definitely hurt perception for Jonathon, who was maybe already not some people's favorite guy. And so that just made things worse. Maybe him stepping away now is partially because of that situation. I know Robbie Starbucks, I'm sure, is taking credit for it, and I'm not sure that it's a bad thing. I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't step away and that this isn't the best thing for the company. Stock prices have been going down for the last quarter. When this announcement came out, they were like at a 52-week low of $21. Stock has started going back up since then, the last few days. It's back up to 23, but it's not back up in the 30s where it was a year ago. And the last time we had a change in leadership, the CEO, Matt Levatich, stepped away. Stock prices were down around $17 or $19 a share. So we were headed this direction to kind of what the trend was in the past, and that's what I was seeing happen again. That was another reason I thought this may be time for a change. If nothing else, it's a change. It gives people hope that the company's going to go in a new direction. They reinvest, or they buy more stock. They think things are going to change, and they're hopeful, and therefore it has a positive impact on the company. Today's video is brought to you by The Factory Match. I'm happy to partner with The Factory Match and now be able to offer my audience 5% off using the coupon code down below. Now, they make color-matched parts for your Harley Davidson. I've seen them do stuff for Indian. Stuff like this fairing trim down here that is color matched on my bike came from them. They can do oil coolers, inner fairings, bags. Check out their website to see all the products you can get from them and all the different colors you can get to match your motorcycle to bring that little extra flair of you to your design and to make it your own. Thanks you again, The Factory Match, for sponsoring today's video and partnering with Riding in the Ozarks. My concern is all this news coming out in the last day about the board of directors. So H Partners is the second largest shareholder in Harley Davidson. They got a position on the board a few years ago. A guy named Jared. I'm not going to butcher his last name, so I'm just going to call him Jared. But Jared from H Partners got a seat on the board to represent them. And I haven't heard much about him or anything else. There's not been a lot of news until he tendered his letter of resignation from the board of directors. And he kind of, he threw Harley Davidson under the bus. And I'm not saying it wasn't warranted, but he called them out on mismanagement, lack of leadership, whatever. The fact that dealer inventory is not improved under Yoke and Zeitz, and that dealers are still stuck with too much inventory on the floor. Overinflating their numbers by shipping bikes to dealerships when they didn't need them, just to make their numbers look better for the quarter. Things like that. These are things I've talked about in the quarterly reports at times. There was a quarter where they shipped the next year models in fourth quarter, which they normally didn't do. And it made their numbers look good, but I said, this is not the average thing. They're overinflating their numbers by shipping more bikes early this year. And that's the kind of thing he's talking about. Now, Harley Davidson has put out a letter or something, a statement saying that Jared did not, express all these concerns during board meetings until just recently. And my take on this is there was a meeting here recently where they reviewed the candidates for the CEO position. They've had a firm searching for a CEO replacement. Sounds like in March, they reviewed those candidates and the board decided there was no qualified candidates, nobody they wanted to transition to at this time. And maybe that was the last straw for Jared because he felt either strongly there was a good candidate, or maybe he felt the board was stalling and not making the urgency of the matter of replacing the CEO what he felt it should be. So he stepped away. He's saying two other board members that have been there for a really long time need to step away, that they've been there for 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is, but too long on the board, and that's not healthy for the company. I've said this before. When people say, who hired this guy? Well, he was already on the board, and he's been on the board for a dozen years before he became the CEO or more. So all these board members that came in underneath him while he was already there may feel some loyalty to him. Maybe he voted to have them in. I don't know how all that works, but I can see with him being on the board for 12 years how he has had an opportunity to garner some support from other board members and stuff. And that's how he got elected as CEO. It's that simple. Maybe nobody else wanted the job. I'm not saying that somebody else would have done a better job through COVID and through plant shutdowns and all of those things. But there has been a lot of backlash on social media. And I do think him stepping away as CEO is probably going to help the company. I think him stepping away from the board of directors will also help. I think if he doesn't step away from the board of directors, that people like Robbie Starbucks are still going to come after the board and him because he's still associated with the company whenever there's something they don't like. That's just my take on it. I could be totally wrong. Now, my concern is if they didn't have any candidates in March, that they're probably not considering Jonathon Root. And I'm okay with being wrong if they get the right guy for the job, but I heard a lot of positive things about him. He's the CFO. He's been with the company and worked his way up since 2011. And, I think having a guy that if he's qualified is better than bringing a guy in you don't know. Now, if he's not qualified, if you don't think he can do the job, then sure. I believe firmly that you should hire the most qualified candidate for the job. I don't know what's going on there, but apparently whatever's going on was enough that Jared felt it was time to resign from the board. So maybe, Jonathon Root's still in the running. Maybe he's not in the running. Maybe he's declined the opportunity and doesn't want to be the CEO. I don't know. That's a possibility as well. I do know they better figure something out. This is bad publicity, and my doing this video probably doesn't help things, but people are texting me, sending me messages, sending me links to articles, wanting to know what I think about this stuff. And as always, I'm just going to tell you all in the video instead of responding to a bunch of people individually. So that's what's going on with the board. He decided to resign back fourth quarter of 2024. I don't think he's being pushed out. I think he's making a strategic decision that it's best for the company and for himself to step away at this time. You think about it. If he's got stock options and stocks going down, he's losing money. If they can, switch things in the other direction and stock goes up, he could sell his stock options, in a year from now when the company has a better stock price and he could make more money. So this could be self-serving, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way these things work. I don't know what all's going on. Maybe he's 62 and he's just ready for retirement. Could be as well. But I do think that if he stays with the board, it's going to be another negative on Harley Davidson from a lot of people's perspectives. There are a lot of eyes on this, like Robbie Starbucks, who are going to know if he stays on the board, and they're going to continue to try and push those buttons when that opportunity presents itself. Let me know what you think. Do you think that it's great he's stepping away? Do you think it's okay if he stays on the board? Do you think he needs to be away from the board? And do you think there needs to be a shakeup on the board, and that people that have been on the board for 30 years are time for them to step away and get some fresh ideas and some fresh people in there? Maybe not 30 years of loyalty. I don't know. And no, I didn't submit my resume. Don't think I have quite all the qualifications. And I think it's probably a pretty thankless job, even if it does pay $30 million a year. Well, I think last year was $12 million. Depends on the stock value, how much the salary is, because you have stock options. But I think last year it was $12 million. And just for fun, if you could pick somebody to be the CEO of Harley Davidson, who would you pick? Do you know somebody who's got great business sense but loves the brand? Can we find another Willie G? That's what I'm asking. Can we find another Willie G? Let's hope so, because I love the brand and I want to see it succeed. Now I got to get back to work. We're putting a 2017 Street Glide back together. Video series coming on the teardown, the rebuild, the bars, all kinds of stuff on that. And as always, y'all stay safe. Keep on riding. We'll see you in the next one.